my experience, which I think you guys share with me, is that because the technology has been around for a while, there's different generations of users, different preferences for some of these systems, and I think we've all encountered this in terms of type of formulators that maybe are really well versed in technology, understand everything that we're talking about, totally plugged in. Some of them that may see some of the limitations that we're addressing, and newer generations of formulators and users coming up that may not have been fully exposed to some of this technology. They're only used to certain type of curative systems as their go-to systems for epoxy formulating. So we need to do a little bit of work kind of evangelizing here to let them know that this technology is still relevant in that regard.
That is correct. There are still some preconceived notions.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
about anhydride-based systems,
particularly solid anhydride systems.
Particularly, yeah. So I think it would be worthwhile to, talk about the benefits of anhydride systems in epoxy.
Dispel the misunderstandings that
well, that's
are
right.
relevant.
They've got it down pat. They understand the technology. They probably have understood it from the get-go, and they enjoy all the advantages and the success behind it. Whereas some may have stopped and said, well, yeah, I know that, but now I've got a liquid system, and this is a turnoff. And I've already got my mindset on my go-to anhydride systems, and I'm not going to bother with the dianhydrides. I can't deal with the solid addition. But there's very simple solutions to that. So I see the need for continued education, and I guess it's our collective role to keep that in front of everybody to make them understand. Look, there are options for you.
Every kind of chemistry available to a formulator has its unique advantages and its unique challenges, and it seems, at least to me, that the other kinds of curing agent technologies available to epoxies are so much more dominant in the industry that a lot of the education or experience that we say newcomers into the industry are based on, say, the amine curing technology.
Yeah, there's so many different choices.
So they just don't have enough opportunities to learn about the specialty called anhydride cured epoxies, and therefore, to Anand's point, there's preconceived notions about how these systems work or do not work, and there is our job to really try to help people understand the strengths and the weaknesses.
And because the dianhydride technology has been around so long, I think there's as the old guard retires, the information is not passed on.
That's a totally fair point. Yeah. And there's a certain stubbornness, I think, too, where they find some of the other systems are more readily available. Maybe it's a cost, whatever they see.
They're easier to process.
Yeah, but their tool bags seem to be a bit limited, and I guess from an epoxy curative standpoint, you've got to have a really broad understanding.
I'll share an example with you guys to your point about Boris. So we have come across with systems where the application really tells you that an epoxy anhydride system is really the ideal chemistry for that application, and yet the formulators, chemists, they are concerned about moisture sensitivity of anhydrides in the uncured form.
Fair point,
because it's been told that anhydrides will react with water. And what happens is people forget that amines will react with water. You can't contaminate amines with water either. You can't contaminate isocyanate with water.
With urethane systems.
So water is just a contaminant unless you really deliberately use it as a part of your formulation tool in some chemistry.
Which you can.
It is a contaminant for any chemistry. So something like that, we try our best to educate customers who are trying to learn about new technology.
It's not unique to the anhydride system.
Exactly.
It's prevalent across the whole cross-linker curative spectrum for sure.
I agree, and I'm actually now we're even taking it to the point of like simple housekeeping procedures too.
Yes.
Where somebody just doesn't understand how to work with dianhydride or monoanhydride systems.
I mean, if you're on
something foolish, and
if you're on the plant floor and you've got a drum full of dianhydride, you don't open up, scoop out some, and just leave it open to the air. The next batch is not going to work.
Yeah,
but not work well.
Exactly.
We've heard those stories. We've seen people that do that. And a slight adjustment to your housekeeping, all of a sudden you get uniformity and repeatability in your process.